Професоре, францускиот председател Макрон кажа дека ќе поддржи отворање на преговори со Македонија и Албанија, но само доколку извештајот на Европската комисија биде позитивен. Дали е ова последен услов на Франција и што да очекуваме во март?
Well, it's always difficult for an academic to speak on behalf of the politicians, right? But I have the impression that yes, we are in a good direction. If the report from the Commission is positive, probably we will go towards a decision to open the negotiation in the next European Council. But it's not always the question of the report which was important. What is also important is that the European Union adopted a new methodology for enlargement, and that was an important condition for France as well. So it's there. We got on the 5th of February the communication of the Commission about the new method. That will be applied to Northern Macedonia and Albania. Serbia and Montenegro, we don't know, but they will get the offer, of course, to and my intuition is that probably they will also follow the new method. So all these conditions now are there, and I think the wind is positive, yes.
Парис бараше флексибилност во процесот на проширување. Како новата методологија ќе овозможи оваа флексибилност, а да не се сведе само на бирократија?
Well, if you look at the new procedures, there is one element which is important. It's this politicization of the process, and you're absolutely right. When you look at the previous enlargement, it was a very bureaucratic process, right? The negotiation. Now it would be probably more politics, and you could see that in also the role the summits will play, because when now we shall have summits in the negotiations, and when you're talking about summits, we speak about heads of state and government, so that's politicians, right? But what was very important also is the possibility to reverse the process if the reforms, and especially the rule of law, is not going in the right direction in the country, right? And why this? Well, it's not a particular suspicion towards Northern Macedonia, but it's an empirical observation coming also from previous enlargements. We had in Central Europe countries which made everything to respect the rule of law, and now as member states, they violate the rule of law, right? And the situation of Hungary in particular, the situation of Poland in particular, to a certain extent is going against the interest of Northern Macedonia, because the Europeans, they have these examples in mind, and they want to control this process, which makes sense, because if you do not accept the normative process of the European Union, then you cannot become a member. European Union is not just a market, right? It's also a certain number of principles, values, which have to do with liberal democracy.
Ќе даде ли Париз зелено светло ако земјите членки не ја усвојат методологијата до март?
Well, I think France is very supportive of the new methodology. If I consider the declaration, the statements made by the politician, especially the Minister for European Affairs, Madame de Montchalin. Yes, if everybody agrees on the new methodology, and I do not see why people will be against, because new methodology is also more efficiency, right? In this case, I think there are good chances that the green light comes from Paris. Yes, I would expect so.
Навидом како пинг-понг игра помеѓу Франција и Холандија. Официјален став на Париз е дека да за датум за Македонија и Албанија, но во пакет. Од друга страна, Холандија останува на истиот став од октомври дека е за отпочнување на преговори со Македонија, но да се раздели со Албанија. Како да го сватиме ова? Како нов проблем на Европскиот совет на 26 и 27 марта?
Well, this is typically European Union. You have different positions, right, among the member states, which at the beginning of the negotiations are not well on the same line, and then you have to find a compromise. So this question of package or non-package is precisely what the member states, I mean the 27, will have to discuss between themselves, right? I cannot tell you the answer about package or non-package, but it's an issue in the debate. It's an issue at the agenda. And here, it's true that as a candidate country, of course, you can express your preference. You can say, well, we would prefer not to go in a package, but at the end, it's the 27th which decided, right? So that's the game also of being a candidate vis-a-vis those who are already members of the club.
Дали Европската унија е навистина спремна да го зголеми кругот или испраќа само лажни надежи на Балканот?
I think we have to distinguish two things. First of all, opening of negotiation is one thing which is different from enlargement, right? It will take time, and this is something the governments of the candidate countries like Northern Macedonia has to communicate clearly to the population. It's not because you are opening negotiations that you will become a member tomorrow, right? It takes, well, at least a couple of years. If you take Central Europe, it took 10 years. The first application was Hungary in 1994, and Hungary became a member in 2004, right? So 10 years. If you take Spain and Portugal, it took 9 years, right? So it is such an exercise that it takes time. I know that in Northern Macedonia, you have a certain advantage compared to some other Western Balkan countries because you already adapt your legislation to the EU acquis, right? Probably more than Montenegro and more than Serbia, okay? So this is one thing. The other thing is you have also, when you are a politician, to, well, consider your public opinion, right? Your society. So it can only be ratified if the public opinion of the member states are okay with the process. And for this, the politicians in the member states, they have to prepare the public opinion. If you take France, for instance, you need to have a referendum because this is a legal obligation, except if the parliament decide, but with a very, well, constraining majority to go through a parliamentary process. But in general, the process is referendum. So my intuition is that we will probably wait that all the candidate countries have finished the negotiation and then ask the population to say yes on a package, right? So again, it takes time. But this is the constraints of politics. There is, and this is something you have to take into consideration, also a form of enlargement fatigue in the member states of the European Union, among the society. So, and a rise of populism, a rise of populist politicians also, which are not particularly supportive of European integration process. So all these elements have also to be taken into consideration, okay? Enlargement has to be accepted by the society of the candidate country, but also by all the societies of the member states. So it's a huge game at the end.